Just when I thought I finished paying my taxes for my income last year, IRAS just sent me a love letter asking me to pay additional taxes. So I'm not sure if other people also have this experience receiving this love letter from IRAS. So I'm here to share my story, and to spoil the bubble is entirely my own fault and my own miscalculation, which is why I have to pay the additional taxes. But we will get to that later. And of course, if you have other questions on income tax, you can come and join us at over 16,000 members in the Honey Money SG Telegram group to ask your income tax questions there. So when I open the love letter, it says that I have a revised notice of assessment (additional) for YA 2023 and an additional tax payable by 8 August 2024, which is around $623. And to be clear, YA 2023 does not mean for 2023 full year income, because YA is like the year after that. So YA 2023 means for year 2022 full year income. So the effective period is from January to December 2022. And during back then, I was still employed full-time as a corporate employee. So I have a full-time income from my corporate job plus a side hustle YouTube income. So this was the context back then. I'm a full-time employee plus some self-employed income from YouTube. And that was the structure. So I was thinking to myself, cannot be leh, didn't I already pay the taxes fully? And even for last year taxes, I already fully paid. This year one, I also fully paid. So IRAS should not be chasing me, right? So as I was drafting the letter to IRAS to object to the tax computation, then I took a moment to close my eyes, take a deep breath. And do you know that timing the market is challenging and may be affected by your own emotions? So to minimize the anxiety, regular savings plan is one of the effective ways for you to grow your wealth over time by dollar cost averaging in the US market. And you can do that on Moomoo by going to accounts, more, then RSP, then search for your favorite US stock or ETF. For paying account, you may set it to deduct automatically from your bank account so you don't have to manually deposit cash to your account. Even the currency exchange is automated for RSP order. Minimum investment amount starts at $5. Contribution frequency from weekly, every 2 weeks, monthly, or even daily. You can also use RSP calculator to forecast your expected future returns based on historical data. Pricing-wise, Moomoo is charging 0 commission per order for US stocks and ETFs with a platform fee of 99 US cents per order. For new users, Moomoo SG is currently offering 6.8% per annum guaranteed return on their Moomoo Cash Plus promotion for 30 days. And if you manage to hit the maximum subscription of $80,000, you will be getting a total return of approximately 447 Singapore dollars. But as a disclaimer, please note that Moomoo Cash Plus is an investment product. This is not comparable and is different from savings deposits. Principal is not guaranteed, and up to 30 days of the 6.8% per annum is guaranteed only during the promotional period. On top of that, you will be able to unlock up to 4 stock bundles of the top 5 traded US stocks worth 70 Singapore dollars each and an Apple share worth around 243 Singapore dollars. Sign up with my exclusive link for a bonus 20 Singapore dollars cash coupon. There's a total rewards value of 990 Singapore dollars. Holding period and buy trade applies. Investment in any capital market products involves risk and a risk to lose capital. For more details of the promotion, please refer to the link landing page in the description below. So wait no more and use my exclusive link down below or scan the QR code right here to get your Moomoo SG Universal account today. So after that, I thought for a while and remembered that I had some CPF refunds coming in the year of 2023, and it was refunded to me because of over contribution from the voluntary contributions to 3 accounts for self-employed persons. Then I went back to check my CPF transactions for the previous 15 months, and yes, indeed, it was because of the CPF refunds and the numbers tallied. So why this thing really happened was because in 2022, I was a full-time employee plus self-employed person, and only the CPF Medisave contribution was mandatory for self-employed person. But I did voluntarily contribute to my 3 accounts as well to the self-employed. And the reason was mainly because of tax relief, because you know that self-employed person, if you do VC3A, voluntary contribution to 3 accounts, you can still get tax relief. To be clear, VC3A will not get any tax relief for employed persons. Let's be very clear. So the fact is, due to miscalculation, I over-contributed by $4,300. And these funds were refunded back to my bank account in 2023, and all the interest accrued were forgone as well. So because the CPF have already refunded to you these amounts back to the bank account, they also have to reverse any kind of tax deductions that you have enjoyed due to the reduction in the tax assessable income. And this was the case for me, which also meant that there's going to be additional taxes because your tax assessable income for the YA 2023 has gone higher. and now you have to pay additional taxes for that income. So to be honest, it's really my own fault for the miscalculation and over contribution to the voluntary contribution to 3 accounts. And I must say that self-employed computation, especially with yourself as a full-time employee, can be really complicated with all the CPF caps, IRAS cap, especially if you have a full-time job as well. That complicates all the contribution matters. Even for NSmen pay as well for in-camp training, reservists. But that's a story for another day if you are interested. So if you are in the same situation as me back then, having a full-time income plus a side income for self-employed, you have to be very careful on the calculation, especially if you want to do voluntary contribution to 3 accounts. Otherwise, you waste all your time to calculate and then the resources to put in the end, you get nothing. And this is also the case if you're a full-time employee and then your employer over-contribute, because CPF will refund the excess contributions back to your employer and then you realize you need to pay additional taxes. Now currently as a full-time employee of my own company, all these accounts become very clear already. I have full-time income from my own employment in my own company. So everything very clear, no more self-employed income. And do you know that for home loan eligibility, if you're a self-employed person, you need to take a 30% haircut because only 70% of your net trade income will be recognized. That also means that if your self-employed monthly income is around $10,000 per month, they will only take $7,000, which means if you're applying for a private property, total debt servicing ratio or TDSR of 55%, will only be applied on your $7,000 instead of 55% of $10,000. So you see your loan quantum will be drastically reduced, especially if you're a self-employed person. So it's really good to consider converting to a private limited if you have the means and capacity to manage it, because all your income and accounts become much more clearer. Anyway, I really want to talk about the NSmen pay, especially for ICT. You know, for self-employed person, especially if you have full-time income, your first year, you really need to go and report your income on. Otherwise, your NSICT will not give you your self-employed pay. Like for year 2022, right, when I started my self-employed income declaration, I did not receive the additional income from my NSICT. And then in the end, I went to clarify with MINDEF payments, they have to back pay you based on what you have declared to IRAS on the next year. Because this will be the first year that you declared that self-employed income. They have no records of tracking and paying you back. So it's really on your own voluntary action to go and report this income to MINDEF. Make sure they pay you because that's what you are supposed to get. But do you know that if you have no more self-employed income, like myself this year, MINDEF will also claw back the additional income that you have received. Because rightfully so, they pay you based on what you have declared previously as a self-employed. But maybe next year you are not self-employed anymore, but they still pay you. So in the end, they still have to claw back. So this was a story for me in my final year of NSmen ICT. I also need to go through all these pay methods. So if you have friends and family in the same phase like me, full-time employed, then with self-employed income, then you are going through all these NS pay methods, you can send this video to them to clarify. But I digress, let's come back to topic. What is the best way to pay income tax, especially for this $600 over of additional tax? I think the best way I'll pay through is CardUp for now, because as a new user to CardUp, if you use my code HoneyMoney, you can get $30 off your first payment, which is more than enough to cover that $600. And even if you are an existing user, you can use my code as well, HMTax24, to get a reduced fee. I think it's like 1.75% instead of the usual 2.6% fee. So the best card to use with CardUp, you can use UOB Privy Visa, which gives you 1.4 miles per dollar, or you can use DBS Vantage for 1.5 miles per dollar if you qualify for that card. Then if you're a cashback person, you can consider using the Maybank Platinum Visa card as well. And you want to have a further and clearer explanation of what are the best ways to pay income tax, then I can refer you to a previous video on the best ways to pay income tax right here.